Actor William Forsythe has appeared in over 100 movies and television shows. His film credits include The Rock.
There's a hostage situation on Alcatraz. 81 tourists.
The 2007 remake of Halloween, Devil's Rejects.
Hey man, don't give me none of that cocky ass, yardbird pumping iron on the baddest motherfucker that ever lived horse shit.
Once Upon a Time in America, Raising Arizona, and even Deuce Bigelow. His next major project is Inkubus, and Waterborn had a chance to talk to William about that role and about his amazing career.
Fuck me? Fuck you, motherfucker! Hey, hold it!
So this is Dane Talk, aka Waterborn, here at the 2011 Rock and Shock Festival, talking about Inkubus, the new movie, and I have the distinct pleasure of sitting next to Mr. William Forsythe. Sir, thank you so much for taking a few moments to talk to us today.
Hey, it's my absolute pleasure, brother.
You know, one thing before we get started talking about the movie, I want to say that the whole crew, the cast, everybody that's involved with Inkubus are the most gracious group of people I've ever met in my entire life. I've done a lot of these interviews, and I want to say that you guys seem like a family, and you seem really attuned to the fans.
Well, I got to tell you, you know, I basically, Glenn Ciano, the guy who directed the film, 15 years ago, he was a PA on a movie. And for whatever reason, he and I were like friends and we spoke to each other. Cut to 15 years later, my friend from Rhode Island calls me up and he says, I got a movie I'm going to direct and I want you to be involved in it. He introduced me to Chad Verdi, the producer, and all the rest of the guys that you see in the film. And, you know, it's really funny. I ended up doing 3 movies with them, and I am an honorary member of the Rhode Island Players right now. And I mean, they're awesome guys. And I think what I love the most about it is the genuine passion and excitement for film. Sometimes Hollywood just gets to a point where it's jaded and bitter, and there's none of that with the guys. It's like going off and doing summer stock, you know, and it's very exciting and a lot of fun, and I'm very proud of them.
Definitely, and I was talking to Glenn about, you know, obviously this isn't a $100 million project. There's a budget involved with a regional film like this, and I was really impressed of what they did with the film, given the budget and production constraints that they had. Can you talk to us a little bit about your impression of what how they took that production limitation, how they took the budget limitation, filming in 15 days, which when I found that out, I was just blown away. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, you know, you can never think of anything. Whatever film you do, no matter what the budget, no matter what the size, for me, it always has to be the same job. I have to do my work, I have to do my research, I have to bring something to this, and no matter what the size, no matter what, you have to do exactly the same job. First thing you have to do, I think, when you're making a film that doesn't have millions and millions and millions of dollars, is you find a great location. You know, these guys pulled out of their hat this police station in Cranston that's closed. I mean, you've already got something built in that is phenomenal. What's really fun, and what made it even more fun, is you take this police station, you know, which is a place of great security to man, and then suddenly take that police station and turn it into your own living hell. And, you know, that's the way you work with budget, you know.
Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit about your character, because he's a little bit tormented, obviously. He has a past, which we won't get into, so we don't get into spoilers for people who want to see the film. But talk to me about that transition, because you definitely make an arc in the movie from where you started at the very beginning, where we see you with the phone call, towards the end of the movie, and how the character of Inkubus eventually is dealt with, if we'll say.
Well, he starts off in a state of confusion where he has basically been for years. When the last time he and Inkubus crossed paths, Inkubus killed his wife and his son disappeared. The man has been in a mental institution, repeating over and over all the thoughts and everything that he's been through. And at this point in his life, he's sitting there in the dark, and suddenly when this phone call rings, it's as if it just happened 10 seconds later. And as if he's been waiting for this to happen. And, you know, it's a real fun character, because, you know, what you have to do is you kind of have to play with your senses, you know, to not really be aware of everything that you are aware of in a room, you know, to be in another place. And it was really a very interesting character to play, because there were times when I would purposely not be in the room. though I was there.
Right.
And so, you know, it was a really fun journey to get there and to find a way to make that and do it in a way that's real. You know, you can try to act those kind of things, but it comes off false, you know, unless it's coming from a real place.
Right. And you have this reputation of doing some brilliant heavy parts. And I noticed in this movie, it almost seemed like you were restraining yourself a little bit from doing that. Obviously, it shows up here and there, but it's not the William Forsythe balls to the wall that we're used to seeing. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, you know, every character has a different line. There's something inside, a different charge. And, I mean, this is a man who obviously, I mean, look, Inkubus says, you were the greatest, Gil. You were the one who came to me. So there's this fire, there's this great hunter inside of him. But this hunter's been squelched and kept deep inside. And it's a psychological game between he and I, a chess game. And somewhere, at this very key moment in the movie, Gil figures it out. And when he figures it out, it then changes and it moves into a whole nother place, you know. So it's, I think the film is really good. I really hope the fans get a chance to see it. You know, this limited release is really interesting, and considering the reaction of the fans last night, I think this film could have some real legs, and I want to get it out there, and I really want people to see it, you know, for this really, you know, budget be damned. That doesn't matter. If you make a quality film and you're committed and you've got great actors, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You have a movie.
I definitely agree, and that's some of what I said in my review. The challenge is getting the general public to kind of let go of some of their preconceptions of what a movie should be and to really look at the story. And I think you guys have done a great job at focusing on the story. I mean, we've seen Robert Englund in full makeup, special effects out the wazoo, but in this movie, he actually took all that away and he played the character without all that, and he did an amazing job. Talk to me a little bit about the back and forth between you and Robert.
Well, that's what's interesting about what Robert did. I mean, he takes himself, an extremely intelligent man, a great actor, and he takes himself, and of course there's always a part of yourself in these parts, but then he takes it and he just goes to a place that's like absolutely wonderful with none of the usual tricks and fanfare, and, you know, just him creating it and putting it together. Robert's one of those actors, I mean, look, we all know Freddy Krueger, we know other things that Robert's done, but underrated as an actor.
Far, yeah.
As an actor, underrated. So when he and I get together, and both of us are hard workers, I mean, when our heads begin to clash in that movie, it's exciting. I mean, it was exciting on the set, and even to watch it last night, I was like, yeah, because there's so much really going on inside the film, you know, so.
Excellent job. Definitely kudos to both you and Robert for great portrayals of those characters. Now tell me what's coming down the pike for you.
Well, actually, tonight, Sunday night, I premiere on Boardwalk Empire.
Yep.
And I play Manny Horowitz, who is basically an old country Jewish gangster who lives in Philly, who by trade is a butcher.
Nice.
Anything else I can't tell you, I'd be shot. So
sounds like we're going to see more of the William Forsythe that we know and love, and that's tonight. Do you know what time and where it airs?
Well, it's HBO and East Coast. It's 9 o'clock, and Boardwalk Empire, and Welcome to the Butcher.
Wonderful. I'm actually going to make sure I make it home in time to see that. Well, William, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. Congratulations on the world premiere of Inkubus. And, man, thank you once again for just being such a gracious personality here at the Rock and Chalk Film Festival. Once again, this is Dane Tullock talking to you from the Rock and Chalk Film Festival in Worcester, Massachusetts with the William Forsythe. Have a good one, folks.